Hi, welcome to Waste Management. Today's show is going to be wonderful. It is appropriate, it is contemporary. We're going to deal with waste management. Actually going to talk about waste management. I'm Professor Ritter, this is Professor Patton. We teach here at Miami-Dade College. Professor Patton teaches our nutrition class. So let's find out a little bit about nutrition. Why do I care about nutrition? What is nutrition?
Well, first, nutrition is called the chemistry of life. It affects life from the moment of conception, get that thought out of your mind, to the moment of death. So everything in between is in fact influenced by nutrition, hence the food you eat.
Okay, so give me more.
Okay. We have a course here that offers not only the academic side of nutrition, but we turn it into information that you can use when you get home. We are currently in a overweight obesity epidemic.
No.
Waste management. Yeah, I don't want to use names, dude, but you know who you are out there. And so when we look at the course, we're trying to teach people what they need to know about nutrition.
Okay.
What they need to know about nutrition.
Okay, with nutrition, I know when I took biology, there were energy, conservation,
Yes.
energy in out.
Right.
Does that apply to nutrition?
Absolutely. The most important need of the human body is energy. Without energy, like without energy or gas in your car, you can't function. The most important need of energy is something called carbohydrate as it turns into blood sugar. Everybody thinks carbohydrates are bad for you. Well, no, they're not. They keep your brain alive. And some of us like our brain to function.
Can you give me examples of carbohydrates?
Yes. A carbohydrate food is anything from the plant kingdom. Any food that never had a mother. An apple, a carrot, rice, wheat. Unfortunately,
Mother Earth doesn't count?
Mother Earth doesn't count.
Okay.
The problem with carbohydrate is when we refine them and stick them together in something like a Coke or soda. I'm not allowed to use brands. Okay, scratch Coke. But we can fit in enough carbohydrate in a Coke that would be the amount you would get in 6 cups of rice.
Okay, so carbohydrates come in different forms.
Right. There are forms that are simple. Now, again, most important for carbohydrate is that we get some in. And when we get to meals in the second half today, that's going to be the basis of how we should be feeding ourselves. The problem with carbohydrate occurs when we consume too much at one time. It gets converted to fat. That's how we store energy as hip, thigh, abdomen, and buttocks. Okay?
Okay.
And then the problem is once it's fat, it can't go back to carbohydrate, which means we need to eat again. You can't starve fat off. It won't go to glucose. In order to get glucose, we have to use proteins, but dietary proteins are supposed to be used to make body protein.
Okay, wait a minute. You're all over. Okay, wait a minute. Carbohydrates.
Provide
You
energy.
said carbohydrates come in different forms. They are again?
Complex and simple.
Give me examples. I need to know.
Rice versus gummy bears.
Which one should I eat?
Rice.
I like gummy bears.
Hence your problem with waste management.
Okay, fine. So no more gummy bears.
It turns to fat. Okay.
Okay,
now,
fine. So you also mentioned protein.
Now here's the deal with protein. If you do not get in enough carbohydrate, since you can't take fat back to glucose.
Fat to?
Glucose. Okay. Fat is fat, and it stores it fat or it's used for energy. The problem is if you don't have enough energy as carbohydrate coming in, you make it from protein. Proteins are supposed to be used to make body protein, which is what keeps you alive.
Okay.
But the priority in the body is if you don't have energy for your brain, but you still need protein for life, it goes to energy. So in carbohydrate deficiency, we have a process. It's cool. It's called gluconeogenesis. You make new glucose. Protein in excess, though, just like carbohydrate, gets converted to and stored as fat. But here's the kicker with nutrition. All fat goes directly from your plate to your body fat reserves. You take fat from your plate and it goes to your hip, thigh, abdomen, or buttocks.
But wait a minute. I was reading about essential fatty acids that I was told if I don't eat, I'm going to die.
You are. But you need 0.6% of 1% of your total calories as essential fatty acids, linoleic and linoleic acid. That's nothing. And where you get your essential fatty acids are from the foods that also provide carbohydrates. They're vegetable oils and or from fish. Americans eat very little fish. Even though it's a protein, it has the omega-3, a fishy oil, and that would be a good way to do it. The problem is when we eat fish, when we eat any meal, we add too much fat to it. We take fish and we fry it.
That tastes good.
Then we add cheese to it. Then we add tartar sauce to it. And then we sell that with a order of fries, McDonald's Filet-O-Fish. The #1 selling fish in America is McDonald's. Oh my gosh.
So we do eat a lot of fish.
No, we don't. We eat a lot of McDonald's.
Okay, well.
There's a difference between that and something we should be eating. Now, the thing about getting in the energy is you don't want too much at one time. You won't want too little at one time. Therefore, we're going to need to have a way of getting it in more periodically through the day as compared to how most Americans eat. Most Americans undereat during the day and then overeat at night. So the calories they consume can't be used and hence get converted to and stored as your waist or your hips or your thigh or your buttocks. Then the problem sort of resumes the next day. We have this large intake at night. We don't feel like eating in the morning, and we start all day going through this undereating, overeating process. This is what I call sumo wrestler meal planning. The best way to get heavy is to eat very little in the day and overeat at night. Welcome to America. Welcome to the Olive Garden. Welcome to almost any restaurant we go to where they serve these huge buckets of food.
You realize you're going to hear from Olive Garden.
Yeah, but I doubt they're going to be sending me coupons for dinner at this point anyhow.
I'll take them if they do.
Okay. Now, the cool thing about getting in the carbohydrate for energy is these are plant-based foods. They also provide you with fiber, something you need for your intestinal tract. They provide you most of your vitamins. They provide your minerals. They provide all of the things in nutrition that come with what we should be eating. And I know I'm usually facetious about this, but this is a serious statement. The problem with the American diet is we are no longer eating real foods. Our foods come in a box or a cellophane bag or a can, and then we can't figure out why we're not getting in all of the nutrients we need. Well, we're not eating real food. It sounds bizarre. What should people eat? They should eat real food.
Okay, getting back to, you said you teach a class here in nutrition. If I were to take your class, would I learn about this?
Absolutely. Not only that, you would learn everything you would need to do to prevent overweight, obesity, treat overweight or obese conditions, and essentially be able to feed a family a healthier meal. Now, you're never going to be perfect, but our classes are relevant. It's not just, this is the facts, this is the academia, this is the science. Spend some time on the science, but that's what then makes the recommendations seem realistic.
So your nutrition classes aren't only for people that are going to become a dietitian, they're for anybody?
No. We have the health side, nursing, etc. We have those just interested. But I have a whole group of students that take my classes that are just there to learn how to eat healthier. I've got a young lady, I say that somewhat facetiously, she's about 68. She has had lap band surgeries, diabetes, she has lost her one kidney and has been on dialysis with the diabetes. She finally, bless her heart, at age 68, took a nutrition class so she could eat healthier. And every class, she's in my Saturday class, every class she has this little light bulb go off that says, oh my God, that's important information. Well, of course it is, dear. You have all these health problems related to your diet, and this is then the information you need to remedy that.
So a person taking your class, besides having, they don't need a gym membership?
They don't need a gym membership. They do not need a background in science. During the course of the year, here at North Campus, we teach approximately 2,100 students in our nutrition classes. Very few of them have a science background, but all of them will end up at the end of class knowing how to eat healthier. Many of them will actually be eating healthier. Okay? If I had to summarize nutrition for most people in one statement, it would be at this point: eat more fruits and vegetables.
Okay. Thank you for that. Let's take a quick break, and I'm looking forward to the second half when I get to eat junk food.
Fresh thinking is being served at Miami-Dade College. Create your own recipe for success in the evolution of food culture at the Miami Culinary Institute. Learn the skills you need to jumpstart your career in the culinary arts. Turn green into gourmet and celery into salary. Miami Culinary Institute. Food, culture, innovation. Visit us at miamidadeculinary.com. Register now. Miami Culinary Institute.
The School for Continuing Education and Professional Development has an outreach center in Aventura. At this center, we offer after-school programs for children to improve their artistic abilities while improving their grades. We also offer programs for seniors that include floral arrangements, jewelry making, arts and crafts, acting, and so much more. For more information or to register, you can visit us online or call 305-936-2585.
Miami-Dade College, 8 campuses, 7 bachelor degrees. Miami-Dade College is the largest institution of higher education in the United States. With 8 campuses and 7 bachelor degrees, Miami-Dade College has the right education for you. Film, television and digital production, health science, public safety management, supervision and management, education, electronic engineering technology, and nursing. 8 campuses, 7 bachelor degrees. Miami-Dade College, the power of opportunity.
Hi, welcome back to Waste Management. Again, I'm Professor Ritter. This is Professor Patton. This is the part of the show I was looking forward to. We have food here. Food. I know what I like best, but
keep your hands out of it, but at least till we talk about it.
Okay, let's start with the fish at the end.
Well, very importantly to sort of eating healthy is you have to think through how you're and what you're going to eat. How you eat means when are you going to eat as well. Again, I mentioned in the previous section, the biggest problem with Americans is they don't eat enough during the normal part of the day when they're out most active. So by the time they get home, they're hungry. And then when they're hungry, they'll eat anything. I mean, they're hungry. They'll stop at KFC and buy a bucket of chicken and can't figure out why they've gained extra body fat. Well,
but they enjoyed it.
They enjoyed it, but that's different than staying alive and enjoying your retirement. Okay, now, the very first sort of rule of eating healthy is to eat smaller but more frequent meals through the day so that you don't ever overeat, and then you can sort of get in and meet the body's needs as you go through.
Okay, you brought up a point, smaller meals throughout the day. The meals we have in front of us, I wouldn't consider them, are they small?
Yes, they're small in terms of both food volume. I mean, when you think of most meals, again, picking on Olive Garden sells you meals, all you can eat pasta. So you could sit there literally all night and eat yourself to death on macaroni.
They have salad.
Well, but I know. But that's not what we fill up on the most. Okay? So you get in smaller meals, and that has to be consciously planned out so that there's foods available to eat when you get up in the morning. Cereal, a healthy cereal, maybe in a grain cereal, some fruit to put on it, a low-fat milk, half a grapefruit.
When you say grain, whole grain? I know they're pushing whole grain now.
Yes. What we call unrefined grain products are best for us. Okay? And then when we put a meal together in thought process, the sort of the important general rule is to include more variety, and a little bit more specific, to include more variety of colorful foods, because colorful foods are fruits and vegetables. Okay? When we look at a typical American meal, it is a brown food and it is a white food. And if we're hungry, we eat more of the brown food or the white food. We eat more chicken or more rice or more steak or more potato because that's the meal. And that's some of the problem with why we continue to have this weight problem in America. So, to improve a meal, you add more color. And I'm going to sort of show that as we go through the meals. But it also then meets another need of putting together a healthy meal, and that is getting in some carbohydrate, but not excessive amount of carbohydrate.
But I'm glad you mentioned that. Can you tell us what has what in it?
Yes. Okay. If we take a look at some of our better versus traditional meals, we have the traditional American hamburger. It is still the most consumed lunch in America. Whether it's McDonald's or Burger King's, Checkers, just fill the list with all of the burger places out there. Americans are still eating burger and fries. The burger and fries, and I love when they put on a little piece of lettuce and a slice of tomato. That's your
makes it healthy.
Fruits and vegetable. That's now a healthy meal.
Yeah. And don't forget the vegetable ketchup.
And fries is over 1,000 calories. So this meal sitting here before you've added mayonnaise or anything else is about 1,000 to 1,100 calories. And of course, it's not a lot of food, so we have to add our dessert product with it.
Yay.
And that's where the cookies come in. They are, again, America's favorite snack food, dessert food, etc. We eat more cookies than anything else. The cookies, as we found, were 370 calories for 2 cookies. This meal now is 1,500 calories. Not a lot of food, but a lot of calories.
But looking, you're making a point this is the most eaten. If you look at the foods, my brain tells me why.
Well, it's most available. It's most
and it's easy. I can walk around chomping on a burger and fries. This stuff I have to sit down and eat.
As well you should. Mealtime is not part of your walking around time. Mealtime is time you are supposed to sit down, enjoy a meal, reduce your stress, stay healthy, and then go off and run around.
Okay.
Now, here's the difference. America Meal 101. Cookies are the most common of snacks, desserts in America. We eat more cookies than anything else, and those 2 little cookies is 370 calories. Now, that's typical American meal, but now, in sort of eating healthy, the rule is more color, more plant-based foods, and that makes it higher in carbohydrate than fat. That meal right there is about 40% of its calories from fat. Okay. Some of the other meals are about 20 to 25%. As an example, a different meal, same cafeteria, would have been the fish, the green beans, the rice. Everything is portioned out in smaller portions, and that's not a very filling meal. So if in fact you were choosing this meal, variety of different foods, some color, but it wasn't enough, you could always add a salad and a piece of fruit. This meal in totality of calories is about 450. This was 1,500. This was 450.
A lot more food.
A lot more food, a lot more nutrition, and then even in the caloric intake, a better type of calorie. More carbohydrate, less fat. Same thing goes then true with this one. This is chicken. It's going to have, only because of the size difference and the portion sizing, this is going to have about 400, same calories by the way, as this meal, but instead of rice, I got eggplant. So I've got eggplant, carrots, and chicken. A little more calories from the chicken, doesn't really matter, but the same thing holds true. If that isn't enough for a meal, you just add more variety, and all of a sudden, this 550 calorie meal turns out to be way more nutritious than our 1,500 calorie meal in terms of vitamins, minerals, and all of that. It's just a different selection process. Smaller amount of meat product, larger amount of the side dishes, or what are called the carbohydrate foods. You add a salad. Now, here's the problem with most Americans. They'll take a healthy meal, they'll add a salad, and then they cover everything with fat. They take the salad and add this huge amount of ranch or blue cheese dressing. Or they'll add cheese and bacon bits. They'll get to a meal like this, and instead of rotisserie chicken, they'll take fried chicken. And instead of something like the eggplant, they'll have something like fried potatoes. Instead of just the plain carrots, they'll have a glazed carrots, either with butter.
Let me back up the American public here. Which tastes better?
Well, the answer is, taste is a learned process. We like the foods that we eat most often, and we eat most often the foods we like. Basically, if you learn to eat healthier foods, that's the foods you like to eat, and therefore, those are the foods you will eat most often. And again, for something like weight management, this is a lifetime endeavor. For myself, I've had diabetes 40 years. And I know what you mean. This is better tasting. And it's not to say I've never had a hamburger. But if I eat healthy day in and day out, I control my diabetes. In fact, I never have to follow a diet because I'm eating healthy. I know what you're saying, that these foods, cookies are better than apples. But
I actually like apples better than cookies.
So
I'll give you that.
But if we were to just simply buy apples and have them around the house, that's what we're going to eat. It's there, it's convenient. We bring them to school, and you see me every day because your office is next to mine. I always have an apple, a banana, some kind of paraphernalia.
You eat a bunch of junky crackers.
No, I eat crackers to keep my blood sugar up, but that's the carbohydrate part of the snack. It's not cookies, it's a cracker. Well, this is the idea of what to do, and then not to ruin it by what we add. Okay? Instead of fried fish, instead of something with a cheese, or you just get the healthy foods, and that makes the meal.
Question, rice there. There is brown rice, white rice, Bamahi rice, so-and-so rice. What's the difference?
Very little.
So any kind of rice is fine?
Any kind of rice in small to moderate amounts is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, rice is the most important food on earth. 80% of people on earth consume rice as a major part of their meals. So it's only the amount that becomes problematic. And then again, the last part of that is more fruit around. Okay?
So if a person takes your class, they're going to learn this stuff?
This is what they're going to eat the rest of their life. I had a student who flipped in the other day just to wave, who from December till now has lost 22 pounds.
Okay, thank you. That's been very informative. Burger, I have a date. Well, thank you for waste management. I'm going to manage.
There you go.